This I believe. It shouldn't take losing something or someone to appreciate it to its fullest, but it seems that more likely than not that's the case. Time and time again we make decisions that will affect our future, our lives, and time again we have regrets about those decisions, curious of the outcome of other possibilities. I believe that you can't take anything for granted because you don't know what you've got until it's gone. The day was January 31st, 2013, the day I played my last competitive basketball game. I had always seen players have their season or even careers ended by injury, but never thought it could happen to me. In those moments after I received the news that my wrist was broken, I knew my basketball career was over. Those hundreds of games I had played, not fully appreciating what was right there in front of me. It took me until I came to the realization that I would never go back out on the court again to be grateful for everything associated with basketball. I would never play the sport I loved again, never with the teammates I'd always thought would be there, never look over on the bleachers and see my parents with such a proud smile on their face. Appreciation, respect, love. Words not used or portrayed through actions enough, and when used seem to get thrown around without much meaning behind them. Everyone is guilty of wanting more or something else, but how many times do you look at something or someone and really appreciate it? I don't think we appreciate enough, and when that thing is gone or taken away, we have that remorse inside of us. It's been almost 5 years since my grandmother has passed away, and there isn't a time when I drive past her house that I don't think about whether I spent enough time with her. Don't get me wrong, I loved her very much and appreciated everything she did, but it wasn't until she had passed that I really could appreciate how remarkable she was. We would drive to Philly every other Tuesday, making a stop at Dunkin' Donuts so I could pick out my favorite ones. It was the little things that I'll miss and won't ever get back. Sometimes, quite unfortunately, people have no choice but to be separated from someone they love, but it allows them to appreciate everything they had together. In The Great Gatsby, Gatsby had to leave Daisy and enter the war, but what didn't leave was his appreciation and love for her. He spent 5 years doing everything in his will to get her back because he realized how tough it was to be without her. More times than not, the decision we make to be apart from someone ultimately leads to regret and finding out how special that relationship really was. When we have something great, we tend to take it for granted. In A Thousand Splendid Suns, Layla had a great relationship with Tariq, but ultimately left to be with Rashid, resulting in an awful life. She regrets leaving Tariq and didn't appreciate everything he did for her until they were separated. As with Layla, most relationships fail to grasp how strong they are until they are separated. These relationships aren't restricted to just couples, it applies to family and friends bonds as well. In Hamlet, young Hamlet grieves over his father's murder for days and days. Throughout the novel, the reader understands how strong of a connection Hamlet had with his father from the constant grief portrayed after his father was no longer by his side. As the year winds down and college is quickly approaching, everything gets put into perspective. The friendships I've made here will make it extremely difficult to leave. Unlike myself, Chris McCandless from Into the Wild decided to escape all civilization and venture out into the barren Alaskan frontier. It wasn't until he was completely exiled that he understood the importance of human relationships and that most things are better when shared with others. Whether or not all of us are excited to leave here and get to college, I know as soon as all of us get to our destinations across the country, I will miss all my friends and classmates. It won't be the same not spending every day with each other, and we will never be fully able to appreciate all that we've got now until it's gone.